Welcome. Today's video is looking at Buccinidae and Melongenidae, and I'll just scan down the first drawer. We'll start by looking at some of the different genus within this group. Babylonia, a well-known group of shells, perforator, and I'll just point in areolata, and that shell top on the left I didn't collect on a beach. I actually collected that in a restaurant. It was part of a dinner, and so the couple of shells I had, I added to my collection. And I've got that one there, perforator. That lovely, very fine dots is Papillaris. I've got Valentina there. And that very distinct one is Bornensis. So a very attractive group. Next we've got Cooberia, that very large one. And there's a couple of other specimens in here of Mercator. That large one, albino. I'm assuming that is naturally albino and hasn't been doctored, but you never know nowadays. Brasserie, probably my favourite, and you can find that in Australia, Queensland, New South Wales. I've never found one in the Territory, but I'm always hopeful that I might come across one. And there we have a bit of a range of Cooberia and Metula. I thought I'd mention a small group here, well, small group in my collection, but two shells in particular. I wanted to point out these two, both from very deep water, Northwest Australia, and neither of them have been given a name to my knowledge. And then this would be my favourite, the large one, Boswelli from Mozambique. Beautiful shell. And just have a look at the others there that represent groups like Buccinium, Angina, Hinzia, Oniata, Triumphans, and Commonella. Probably the most famous Commonella is that one. Tori from South Australia, still commands quite high prices. Beautiful shell, that's about 7 centimeters, and still quite uncommon. And that's an interesting one, that's called Voluta harpa, and that's from China. So interesting selection there, lots of very small ones there, and you can see how varied this family is. Now this little group down here is Nisaria. I'll point out Incissa, which it took me ages to work out to identify that species, from Indonesia. And then we've got another one I'll point out is Solida, which is Trault of Northern Australia. There's a few Solidus there. Thesauria there. I'm not quite sure, that white one there, it's different to both Thesauria and Solida, but it's one that's also trawled from Northern Australia, from deep water. So a little selection there of Nisaria. Now one of my favourite groups would be the Foss. Probably the most well known is Foss, which is a common shell in many parts of Australia. I've collected it from New South Wales, Queensland, Northern Territory and Western Australia, and known right throughout the Indo-Pacific to my knowledge. And then some other very nice ones there. That's a very popular one, Roseatus. It's obvious where its name comes from. And that's the largest, I believe that's the largest species of Crassus. And the last little group to look at is Catheras. And nice little range there. Probably my favourite would be that one. Pagodus. A little bit different to the others. And the shells there range from Western Australia, Northern Territory, Queensland, through to India. So again, most of those would be Indo-Pacific shells. All right, now let's look at some of the larger ones in this next tray. I'll just scan that. I'll just turn the page of my notes. So most of these are from New Zealand, Australia, Japan, Korea, and China. There's a couple from the US and South America, but it's in the Buzzy group, which is in the next tray, that most of my US and American, South American shells lie. So in this draw, I point out a few very popular shells because of the ribbing there, its sculpture. Vietnamensis, not gem shells, but still very nice. That one next to it, lovely shell. That one is Neptunia contraria from Portugal, obvious where it gets its name from. Some lovely Japanese shells there. Arthetica Cummingii, that little group there from China. And there's a Sinstral shell. So some lovely shells there. Lots of New Zealand ones and Australian ones, as I mentioned. The larger ones there are all from New Zealand and Australia. And this one, it's no surprise that that genus is Fuzzy Triton, Fusi Triton, and it looks very much like a Triton shell and very attractive with without having cleaned it. And now for the final draw. This is where we move into, still looking at Buccinidae, but we also move into the Melongenidae as well. So there's what I call the Buzzy conch shells. Very distinct shapes there. My favourite would be indeed that one from Florida. And so to my knowledge, they're all from Mexico and the US. And then we've got some a deep water shell here of Australia. Then we've got quite a well-known one. Sorry, I'm just trying to turn my notes so I can read what I've written. Cotylidium. Most of those along there from Australia, from Singapore, from India, and albino, one from Australia, one from India. Lovely ones there. Moria, or Morai, I should say, from Brazil. And so there's my collection of Buccinidae and Melongenidae.